Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Metro Detroit enters a deep freeze. Take a look at the current conditions. 15 degrees in Metro Detroit right now with single-digit wind chills. It's only going to get worse over the next 24 hours, leaving school superintendents with some difficult decisions, as many districts will soon max out on their allowed snow days.
Our schools are places for kids where they're going to get food and love and care and education.
A live look at the roads in Midtown right now, which could become dangerous as it gets harder for private plowing companies to get their hands on salt. Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to get back to that salt shortage in just a moment. But first, let's talk about the weather. Forewarned meteorologist Ron Hilliard talking about the frigid temperatures that we're seeing across Metro Detroit right now.
Yeah, you know, we saw some relief, Karen. It was short-lived. Now the cold is returning and cold enough to get down into that dangerous territory, prompting another forewarned weather alert for tonight. So as you just saw, those wind chill values right now are near zero in many communities. They're down to -2 in Waterford and Pontiac and Auburn Hills. We're down to -5 in Sandusky, and we're just above zero as we go into downtown Detroit. These values are going to be going even lower later on tonight and through tomorrow morning. We're looking at around -15 for a lot of these wind chills. Now, those of us who are around 8 Mile or Baseline Road and northward, we are going to be the ones under the cold weather advisory going through tomorrow morning. If you are south of 8 Mile, if you're in Detroit, if you're in Livonia, if you're in Monroe, that's where the wind chill values will still be very low, and you'll want to take precautions, but not down to -15 and lower as possible for those who are under the advisory. We have the forewarned weather alert for the conditions that are going to be happening throughout the morning hours with those wind chills way down. And we have this cold air that is returning. That Arctic air is flowing down, and we have a chance of some snow showers later on tonight with many of the lakes still unfrozen, especially Lake Michigan. I'm going to talk more about these wind chill values and what we have in store for us coming up. Karen?
All right, thank you, Ron. Now, as crews work to keep roads safe this winter, salt, well, it's really becoming harder to come by and more expensive. Some local businesses say they're paying more just to get it, and that cost is being passed on to consumers. Meantime, counties are telling us very different stories about whether this is a shortage or maybe a distribution problem. Let's bring in Khalil Maycock. He is live from the mobile newsroom, digging into what's really going on behind the salt supply issues. What can you tell us?
Yeah, so Karen, I spoke with the owner of Stonewall Landscaping and Snow Removal, and he tells me this winter season, it's been hectic for his business. He says there's been a lot of snow going on, and there's been not too many days off that they've had. He mentioned it's also been difficult for them to start getting some salt in, and he says that's because their suppliers are having difficulty getting it. So he says when they get some text from their suppliers saying, hey, we can't give you any salt, it's meaning that they have to stop some of the jobs that they are working on. But he did say because of this, they're having difficulties, which means when they do get salt, it's more expensive, and they're having to pass that cost on to their customers.
Beginning of the season, salt was around $100 per ton. Now we're looking at north of $300 per ton. So that's the problem that we're running into. So we have to pass that price on, or we won't be able to survive out here.
And Carr says that that is something that they never want to do. But coming up at 5, you'll hear more from him. You'll also hear from a reseller, or resupplier rather, who buys salt and then gives it to smaller businesses like Carr's. And I'll also break down what some of the counties are saying, if they have salt shortages or if they're doing well. Just a little, note, Wayne County says they are doing good on their salt supply right now. Reporting live in the mobile newsroom, Khalil Maycock, Local 4.
All right, thank you, Khalil. Well, the Detroit Water and Sewage Department says crews are making steady progress fixing those water main breaks across the city despite the frigid temperatures. DWSD has added extra resources with 11 water main break crews working every day, each repairing at least 2 breaks daily. 8 additional crews are also out focusing on removing ice and snow in affected areas. Right now, DWSD says it is still dealing with a few dozen water main breaks citywide, but work is continuing at a steady pace as crews try to stay ahead of the cold. So we're only halfway through the school year, but Mother Nature already making it pretty tough for Metro Detroit schools. Michigan schools get 6 snow days without penalty, But this year, many have already used them all, or they're getting really close. So when schools run out of snow days, they typically have to make up the time, usually by adding days to the end of the year. In some cases, the state will forgive extra snow days. Now, if schools decide to stay open and less than 75% of students show up, districts face a big financial risk.
Because districts that don't call it off on an inclement weather day could still go to school, still do all of that stuff, but if they're below 75, they will not get funding. And for a district of 7,000 kids, that's tantamount to $400,000. Margins are already very tight in public education.
School officials we spoke with say closing schools is never an easy call. Safety is always the top priority, considering things like new teen drivers, kids walking to school or bus stops, and families who might not have enough winter clothes to stay warm. Fire investigators looking for a cause in a large apartment fire in Southfield. The alarms went off just before 3 a.m. over on Providence Drive. That's close to 9 Mile. When firefighters got there, they had to use ladders to help people out from several floors. 2 people were taken to the hospital because of smoke inhalation. Right now, 27 residents and 2 dogs are displaced. The American Red Cross is stepping up to help find temporary homes for them. Right now, border czar Tom Homan is in Minneapolis and says CBP and ICE are working on a drawdown plan which would remove some agents from the city. He says reducing the number of federal agents in Minneapolis hinges on cooperation with state prisons and county jails for targeted migrant removals. So in the meantime, the Trump administration says an investigation is underway into the shooting death of Alex Preddy by ICE agents. Meantime, in Ypsilanti, ICE says reports that parents are being targeted at bus stops are false. This comes after several parents were arrested Tuesday morning. In a statement, a spokesperson said, in part, ICE does not target schools for enforcement actions or bus stop locations. To be clear, no children were present during these arrests. ICE officers were conducting targeted operations seeking to apprehend illegal aliens with final orders of removal from the United States January 27th of 2026. The statement goes on to say, lies like these are just another reason why our officers are grappling with a 1,300% increase in assaults, a 3,200% increase in vehicle attacks, and a staggering 8,000% uptick in death threats, end quote. Washtenaw County Sheriff Alicia Dyer posted on social media saying, quote, I was able to have a conversation with immigration enforcement leadership, and they confirmed they were in Washtenaw County on Tuesday, but were not and will not do any enforcement on school grounds or school bus stops. They have agreed to better communicate in the future, and any additional reports of activity on Wednesday have been confirmed to be rumors, end quote. Okay, bipartisan senators blocking a massive spending bill today as time runs short to avoid a partial government shutdown. All Democrats voted against moving the package forward, demanding that funding for Homeland Security and ICE be separated. 7 conservatives joined them in a 45-55 vote. Without a deal, several major agencies, including the Department of Defense and Health and Human Services, could see funding lapse by the end of the week.